Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and I am starting a little bit of a fun project with this video. This will be the first of kind of a short series, probably end up being maybe 3 videos. Yeah, sounds about right, I don't know. Anyway, this is a Spyderco PM2. This in particular is the one that I got from the factory second sale. And I haven't really been sure for a while what I wanted to do with this knife because I've already got 2 other PM2s, and I'm not really like that big of a multiples kind of guy. I don't want to like have every PM2 that there is. It just doesn't do much for me. I get that some people enjoy having a collection of all the same knife, but the PM2s that I already have are the River's Edge Cutlery Scorpion PM2, which is CPM 10V blade steel, and then I have the other River's Edge Cutlery exclusive PM2, which is flat dark earth and OD green and in 204P blade steel. And those are enough PM2 for me for a long time. But this was just such a good deal. This was like 80 bucks at the factory second sale, and for Maxamet, $80 is a really, really good deal. This is like a $200 knife if it wasn't a factory second. I honestly can't really tell anything wrong with this knife other than on the blade there is one tiny defect. Let's see if I can get it to show. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it in this lighting, but there's just this tiny little, like, it almost looks like there was a bubble in the steel, and when they ground it, it became exposed. It's not deep, it just looks like a little spot on the blade. So to save $120 off of this knife, or what's that, like 60% or something, like that's a really good deal. So this is a fantastic PM2. It's part of me wanted to just like save this as a user and just have like a beater PM2, right? But then I was thinking about it more and more, and I oddly enough have never modified a Paramilitary 2. I've done it to the Para 3. My Para 3 right now is, if you've followed my channel for a while, you'll have seen it's gone through several phases, but this is my Maxamet Para 3. This is the, this is the longest term Para 3 that I've ever owned. I've had this one for quite a while. I've used it a lot. It's wearing Cerberus worker scales in linen micarta. It's got a lynch clip on it. It's got titanium hardware in kind of a brass finish all over. It's just a really, really cool Para 3. Before this it had blue denim micarta scales on it, and before that it was just a Maxamet Para 3. So I've done that. I've modded a Spyderco Yojimbo 2 before. I've modded my Shaman is wearing scales. Like my Spydercos typically are open to getting modded. I think they're a great platform for it. But I've just never done it to a PM2 because I've only owned a couple, really. I haven't like bounced them around as much as I have with Para 3s. Anyway, I thought it was finally time to mod a PM2. So what I did first was I reached out to my buddy over at Sharp Dress Knives. He's really cool. The first set of scales I got from him were for the Gale Bradley 2, which I also have right here. And he does these micarta scales for the GB2, which are fantastic. He gave me an extra set, which I gave away to one of my Patreon patrons for supporting the channel. And they're just really nice micarta scales. So I had seen he does a bunch of cool ones for the PM2, and I just asked him if he'd want to be involved in me doing a build series. And he said yes. He said, "What are you looking to do?" And I told him I'm going to do a Maxamet PM2 and kind of what my rough plans were for it, but I was really kind of open to different types of scales, and I asked what he would recommend, and he recommended this set that is here. So I'm really excited to see these. They are, I believe, dark matter carbon with copper in them, which is wild. It's really different, and I think it's going to look really cool. My plan, I also have some hardware here I'll show you after this. My plan is to swap these scales onto here, swap the clip, of course, all the hardware, and then I plan on dark acid etching the blade. I've seen some people do ferric chloride treatments on Maxamet before, and it comes out really, really dark, which I think looks awesome, like almost black from what I've seen in some of the photos. So I'm going to acid etch the blade really dark. I'm going to throw the scales hardware clip all that on together, and it's gonna hopefully like completely transform this knife and just make it very unique and different. And it just seemed like a cool, fun project. And then this knife almost seems more justifiable because my other two PM2s are users as well. Like, I don't need a user PM2. The other ones aren't safe queens. So I think it'll be a fun mod project. So let's go ahead and bust in here now that I've kind of explained what my plan is a little bit. Ooh, that was close. I almost cut that paper, but I didn't. Just a little thank you note from Sharp Dressed Knives. Brian's a really cool dude. He's awesome. I will link to Sharp Dressed Knives down below, and he's way cool for sending this to me just to do this project. He also, he told me he was going to do this. He sent me one of his lanyard tube removal tools. Lanyard tube removal cube. I don't know if he calls it the cube. So basically, if you've ever disassembled a Spyderco PM2 or Para 3, you'll know that it can be a little bit of a hurdle to get the lanyard tube out sometimes because they're like press fit into there, and it's just it feels sketchy. In fact, the first time that I disassembled my Maxamet Para 3, I accidentally chipped the gray G10 factory scales because it was just such a pain to get it out. So this is literally a tool that specifically pushes it out in a way that doesn't damage your scales and makes it way easier. So I'll show this when I'm working on the knife. But then in here, let's see, I don't know what this paper is. Oh, rad. So some Sharp Dressed Knives stickers, SDK if you will. And then, oh sweet, yeah, so thank you for purchasing the lanyard tube removal tool. It's such a mouthful. Basically, this is a how-to on using that tool to remove the lanyard tube. So, pretty freaking sweet. I'm going to hang on to this for when I'm using it to make sure I do it properly. And then in here we also have the scales, of course. Let's take a look at these. So, he sends them in these nice little, like, I don't know what you call these baggies. They're like microfiber, like what sunglasses come in a lot of the time. Oh, this is dope. Made the right choice. Not that I chose, I had him pick, but he asked me if I was okay with it, and it was cooler than what I was even thinking. These look awesome. Wow, that is cool. Alright, so these are dark matter carbon with copper in them. And that looks ridiculously sweet. These are so cool. I love the idea of like infusing copper into a material like carbon fiber because I love the way copper looks. But I tried, like very beginning of my channel actually, I tried a PM2 that had Flytanium scales on it. And I just didn't like it. It felt weird to me to have so much weight on the handle of a PM2 because I associate the knife with being kind of a certain weight class, and it just felt like the proportions were off. These are really light because they're carbon. Look at the insides of these two. This is really, really cool. So I think this is going to be awesome because they're a premium material. I would consider this as nice or nicer than like titanium scales or copper scales or something like that, right? But they're lightweight still, and they're not going to add weight to the knife. Man, this is going to be dope. Alright, so there are the scales. I am thrilled with those. Genuinely very excited to put those on. Which brings me to the hardware that I ordered. So I wanted to get hardware that would at least fairly closely match. I don't need it to be like exact, but I wanted it to be like a copper type of tone. To go with the copper vibe of the scales. It was either that or all black, but all black seemed a little more basic, and so I was hoping to find some with like a nice copper tone. So I was looking around a little bit online, and I ended up reaching out to BladesWeLove because I've talked to the guy over there before. I think his name is Steve, if I'm not mistaken. I've ordered some stuff from him before, and I've tried like the Loner PM2 Ultra, which he makes those, and he's got a lot of really cool hardware and scales, and he does crazy anodizing and all kinds of fun stuff. So I reached out to him, and he had a set that I was able to purchase from him like spur of the moment. I don't know whether he anodized these for me like when I ordered them or if he actually had them ready. Either way, he was stupid fast for me just being like, hey, I'm doing this project. I need copper finished hardware for a PM2, which didn't seem to be like an off-the-shelf option at a lot of the places that I was looking at. Anyway, he was able to come through super clutch and made it incredibly easy. Alright, so in here we have the BladesWeLove pouch, and it's got all kinds of info on there. On this side, it's got screw install video and tips. He's got a link to where the video is, and then there's tips written on here, which is really cool. Care tips for anodized titanium, the good old Windex trick, and then drivers needed to install these screws. He's even got highlighted which drivers you'll need for this screw set, which is really cool. I like this step. It makes a difference. Alright, we've got a BladesWeLove sticker, which I don't think I have one of these yet, so that's pretty cool. A new sticker for the collection. And, oh, this is going to be sweet. Alright, we have a lanyard tube in titanium. Nice copperish tone. It's kind of like a brassy, coppery. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay, and then we've got, oh yeah, look at these. We've got this whole screw set. It's going to be really hard for that to show through, but a really good like copper tone on those. Man, this is going to come together and be so rad. So I was going to try to find a clip in like a kind of copper tone as well, but I felt like that might be a little too much like shininess all over the knife. So what I'm going to do is poach this MXG gear clip off of here because I really, really like the way this clip looks and functions, and I think it'll be good because it's a black clip, and then with that copper hardware and those the scales that you just saw, it's gonna look really good, I think. So I've got other like lynch clips and stuff around. I'll probably just do a little like clip swapperoo on a couple of Spydercos to make sure each one has one that I really like on it. But yeah, I think I'm going to use that clip, obviously use that hardware, those scales, and then I'm going to acid etch the blade so that the blade gets real dark. And that's kind of going to be the process. So this is going to be the unboxing portion. We'll see, I might even later tonight do the actual mods, but the next video of this sequence will be the actual modification process. So the disassembly of the knife, the acid etching of the blade, and then the reassembly with all of the new components. So really, all that's going to be used from the factory PM2 with all this stuff that's going on it is going to be the blade and the liners. But all of the hardware, the scales, the clip are all going to be brand new, and the blade's going to look totally different. So I think this should come together and be pretty cool. Obviously time will tell, but it's going to be a fun project one way or another. And I mean, there's no way it's not going to turn out cool. I'm looking at all the pieces right here, and it's going to be freaking sweet. Like, these scales, oh, come on, these scales with this hardware, it's just going to be really, really cool, and a black clip, and yeah, these feel really nice. I like this material a lot. It's pretty cool. You can even like, there's spots where I can like see through the resin a little bit if I hold it up to the light. This material is wild. It's really interesting the way the fibers of the carbon fiber are so different from like typical carbon fiber weave. This is sweet. So, thank you so much to Sharp Dress Knives for sending these and the tool, which I'm sure is going to make it a lot easier. And then to BladesWeLove for being so quick and on top of it, and making it easy for me to get some hardware as well. And yeah, this is going to be a fun project. So I will have linked down below Sharp Dress Knives, at least on their Instagram and their site I think he has, and anything that I can find to link to for him I'll put down there, and then I'll also link to BladesWeLove, and I'll see you on the next one. This is going to be a fun project, so stay tuned if you want to see how this ends up turning out. It'll be in a subsequent video that'll do the mods, and then I'll do a final video kind of showing off the knife. Maybe I'll even like carry it for a couple of days and see how it compares to my other PM2s, because all my other PM2s ever have always just been factory G10. I always swap the clips, but they're always just factory G10, factory hardware. So we'll have to see how this changes it up for me. Maybe I'll decide I need to mod all my PM2s. I don't know. I'm excited though, if you can't tell. So thanks guys. I'll see you on the next one.